Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Serious Football Heads podcast series, season number 2, episode 1, something like that. You know, now that I think about it, no. This is not the Serious Football Heads podcast anymore. As of right now, it is just going to be affectionately known as Jay's Football Podcast. Today, I'm going to be discussing where I have been and why we haven't been posting on the Serious Football Heads podcast. Long story short, well, won't be that short, but it'll be short enough. I have flaked out on it, and there are very good reasons why. But at the same time, I have to just kind of face the facts that it's my fault. And I've decided that now I'm ready to come back to doing the Football Heads podcast or doing football podcast. So I thought I would sit down and talk about it. So before I get too deep into this, I just want to let you all know Tom and I are still on good terms, and I have reached out to him, kind of explained the situation, and he's like, "Yeah, do you, man, do you?" Kind of in my paraphrasing of his words. So with that, let's just talk about it. So in the 2019 season, we hit the holidays basically, and that was where Tom was traveling a bit more and I was busy at work. And then about mid-ish of December, early to mid-December, my mother-in-law got sick, like really sick. She ended up in the hospital, and just I didn't have time to do shows, and neither did Tom, and so we missed a few weeks. And at the same time, my mother-in-law passed away. So with that, about just right around Christmas time, we got back into doing the shows. And we stopped right after week 16. Yeah, or week 17. Basically the 16th game of the season for everybody. And we did our kind of like predictions and things like that for the playoffs and the coaching carousel and things like that. And then we didn't pick back up again until April 20th or April 22nd. Wow. 22 months ago today. Weird. Anyways, that's when I posted the Serious Football Heads podcasts, or the Serious Football Heads group mock draft. And that was it. In May, I started moving out of the house we were in because I couldn't afford it. And took us until August to get out of there entirely. And I honestly just I rather wanted to make sure that we were doing the right thing, and ended up here where I'm at now. That being said, I still wasn't ready to talk football. I wasn't ready to do that because I was literally in the last few classes of my bachelor's degree, which I now have a bachelor's in communications and focusing on public relations. And, it's nice to have that accomplishment done. I got that done on October 25th. I finished the last class and basically was awarded the following weekend, the beginning of November. And about halfway through November, found out I was exposed and tested positive for COVID, pre-vaccine COVID. So yeah, fun. Well, it should have just been, nice, easy 10 days off with flu-like symptoms. I understand COVID is worse, but at the same time, it's one of those, how do I put it? It was one of the worst illnesses I've ever been through because I ended up developing pneumonia for the first time, what they call COVID pneumonia at the same time. And from there, how do I want to put this? From there, I just dealt with it and moved on and tried to find a job in public relations, marketing, any sort of communications degree field I could. And so far, I've had one interview in the year and a half. Well, not year and a half, but year and a few months since I've earned my degree. So there's that. With that said, we come into the new year, and still, I hadn't touched base with Tom or anybody about doing podcasts. And to be honest, I wasn't ready. I did say, I wanted to be a part of the mock draft, but never got the invite, never got to go. And to be honest, that's fine. I probably wasn't in the mood or in the right headspace for it. So now we're at the end of the summer. Well, actually, about mid-March, I actually started up my side business. I am a travel agent. Again, hopskippingadreamtravel.com. j@hopskippingadreamtravel.com. You can let me know what you'd like to do for vacation and see what I can do. I focus mostly on families and stuff, but there's that. So with all that, I kind of put football on the back burner again. I still did my fantasy leagues and stuff like that, but I felt like I was missing something with football. Like, I was able to go to my one game again that, I go to every year with my best friend, but at the same time, it feels like something has been missing in my life, and that's been football, like talking football, being able to discuss and talk about it and do all that fun stuff that I used to do with Tom. But at the same time, at the end of this season and as playoffs were going on, I realized that I'm just not wanting to necessarily have a dedicated co-host. I just don't know that I want to do podcasting with a co-host at this moment. So my thoughts are, I'm going to rebrand. Now, I thought about going back to my old blog post that I used to have on Tumblr. Yeah, that was great. Football Talk Northwest. But I don't want to run afoul of NBC and Pro Football Talk and things like that. And I don't want to just focus on the Pacific Northwest either. So I'm planning on some sort of football conversation style where I may have somebody on over here with me, like Tom used to be, or I may have somebody on the phone through my audio mixer here, where we're sitting down talking football. I may just monologue the whole time, like I'm doing right now. We don't know. All I know is that I want to get back to talking football. I've recently just realized that there's a lot of fun I'm missing out on in life in general. But at the same time, I need to find a proper work-life balance. And right now, work and trying to find work is all I'm doing. And I'm not having time for fun or doing things that I want to do or things that I need to do. So, all right. So with all that, if you were a fan because it was me and Tom and you want to unsubscribe, at this point, I don't blame you. And that's fine. I'm the one who failed, so I'm okay with taking the hit. I'm okay with taking the sack in this case. That being said, I'm going to dust off, and go right back into the huddle and start going forward. I'm going to try and put together a media website that deals with all of my podcasts, my video media, my however you want to put it. My adventures, so to speak. So keep that in mind. I kind of have an idea what I'm going to call that, and I just got to figure out some things, some legal things first, and before I launch it and do everything. And so I would like to ask for your support. Now, part of my conversation with Tom is that, if I want to talk something Chargers or maybe just something general football and he wants to join me, I'll ask him and he will. And if he wants to join, he'll join. And that invite extends out to all of you, the Serious Football Heads, as well as all my fans and friends that want to talk football with me. I've been trying for years to get my friend Jonathan Mike to sit down and do like a Seahawks podcast, but they don't want to do it. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. You guys have a wealth of knowledge that, we could bring together. So I've recently found a few other football fans that I would love to sit down, maybe have a 4-way conversation once in a while with them. But yeah, I just want to thank you for being here, staying subscribed for those of you that have. I'd also like to thank you if you stay subscribed. But again, I understand if you don't. So with all of that, I just want to say thank you. And I want to thank Tom for the year or so plus that we were doing it. And look forward to having him on again, and look forward to having others on. And I think this will work out better because I can try to work around people's work schedules, not just my work schedule. And since I don't have college anymore right now, and I don't have other things, we can work on doing this together. So thank you all, and keep an eye out for the rebranding. Oh, it's part of the rebranding though. I am going to keep the Serious Football Heads up. I'm going to funnel them all into their own playlist on the YouTube channel. And we'll go from there. I'm going to have to recreate some things, but, we'll get it there. So, all right. With that, I want to say, again, just a thank you for your patience. Thank you for still being here, and thank you for listening. And I don't have an outro or an intro yet, so we'll just, I guess, ta-ta for now.